No drink in human history has received such intense and immense attention. The most praised, most talked about, most debated, and most researched beverage, Soma Rasa, the divine drink of the Vedic people. A drink so powerful that gods drank it, warriors depended on it, and priests sang entire books of hymns in its praise. And in this video, we will uncover what scientific research reveals, where Soma came from, what ancient scriptures actually say about it, why Iranians called the same drink Homa, its mysterious source. And finally, I will reveal how Soma Rasa was prepared, step by step, exactly as described in the oldest texts. Stay till the end, because the recipe of the gods comes last. Soma is one of the most mysterious substances in the history of mankind. In the Rigveda, the oldest surviving scripture of the Indian subcontinent, Soma is described as a plant, a juice extracted from that plant, and simultaneously a god. Yes, Soma is worshipped, praised, invoked, and drunk. So important is Soma that the Rigveda dedicates an entire book, Mandala 9, solely to Soma hymns. Not to a king, not to a hero, but to a drink. That alone should tell us Soma was no ordinary beverage. What did Soma do? The Rigveda tells us in strikingly confident language. One famous verse declares, "We have drunk Soma, we have become immortal, we have reached the light, we have found the gods." Soma is described as energizing, mind-expanding, strength-giving, clarity-inducing, victory-bringing. It fuels Indra, the king of gods. It sharpens warriors. It uplifts priests. Interestingly, the texts emphasize alertness and power, not hallucination or loss of control. This detail will matter later. But here is the first mystery. If Soma was so important, why did it vanish? Why do we not know with certainty what Soma really was? To answer that, we must go beyond India. Across the mountains to the northwest, another ancient civilization preserved a strikingly similar tradition. In Zoroastrian scripture, the Avesta, Soma appears again, but under a different name, Homa. Linguistically, Soma and Homa come from the same ancient root, meaning to press. Here too, the sacred drink is pressed, filtered, mixed, offered to gods, and then consumed. The Avesta even contains entire chapters dedicated solely to Homa, especially Yasna 9 to 11, known as the Home Yast. In these texts, Homa appears in human form, speaks directly to Zarathustra, and grants strength, health, and heroic offspring. This is not coincidence. It is memory, from a time before Indians and Iranians separated. So now the question becomes sharper. If Soma and Homa are the same ancient drink, where did it come from? The Vedas give us a name, Mujavant. The Rigveda repeatedly states that the finest Soma grows on a mountain called Mujavant. Not in the plains, not near villages, but in a distant, elevated land, almost unreachable. Authoritative commentator Sayana confirms this clearly. Soma was procured from Mujavant, meaning it was brought from far away. But today, no such mountain appears on common maps. So where was Mujavant? The famous scholar Asko Parpola suggested that Muztagh Ata, also known as Mount Tagarma, may correspond to the Vedic Mujavant. Modern scholars noticed something extraordinary. In the high-altitude regions north of the Himalayas, Tibet, the Pamirs, and Central Asia, exists a mountain region with strikingly similar names: Muzavant, Muztagh. Extreme cold, thin air, rocky slopes, rare mountain plants. Exactly the kind of environment described in the Vedas. And here is the crucial detail. Zoroastrian Homa rituals survived much longer. Some communities still use a plant for Homa even today. This continuity allows scholars to narrow down Soma's nature. Which brings us to the most controversial question of all. If Soma and Homa are ancient drinks, what was Soma actually made from? Over the last century, many theories were proposed: psychedelic mushrooms, cannabis, mixtures of multiple plants. But when we compare Vedic Soma with Avestan Homa, one thing becomes clear. The scriptures emphasize wakefulness, strength, clarity, endurance. This has led many scholars to favor high-altitude stimulant plants, especially ephedra. Ephedra grows in cold mountainous regions, was historically used in Iranian Homa rituals, and produces alertness, stamina, and vigor. Still, no final identification exists. And that uncertainty is part of Soma's power.
Modern research. What scholars think Soma might have been. There is no universally accepted identification, but a few candidates dominate the discussion. Ephedra, a leading serious candidate in modern Indo-Iranian comparison. A major scholarly line argues Soma or Haoma fits a stimulant profile better than a hallucinogen, and that ephedra matches living Zoroastrian Haoma practice and many textual expectations. The Leiden 1999 Soma or Haoma workshop report notes many participants could accept ephedra as a serious candidate and discusses pharmacological fit, ephedrine-type stimulation or wakefulness. R. Gordon Wasson, 1968, famously proposed fly agaric, Amanita muscaria, as Soma, tying it to Eurasian mushroom use traditions. This remains influential but heavily contested. In some contemporary Somayaga traditions of India, a plant identified as Soma lata, often linked with Sarcostemma or Sinantium in popular discussions, is used as a ritual Soma plant today, but this does not prove it was the original Rigvedic Soma. Archaeological claims around Bactria marjana, Goner, and Togalok have been used in Soma or Haoma debates. But importantly, Bockles in 2003 re-examined impressions and argued the remains were more consistent with broomcorn millet rather than hemp seeds or ephedra stems, showing how uncertain some archaeological plant ID claims can be.
After all this mystery, poetry, gods, mountains, and lost rituals, it is time. Let us finally reveal how Soma Rasa was prepared. The Vedas describe the preparation with remarkable consistency. Step 1. Harvesting. The Soma plant was collected, often brought from distant mountains like Mujavant. Step 2. Pressing. The stalks were crushed using sacred stones called graven. So central was this act that Soma's very name means that which is pressed. Step 3. Filtering. The juice was filtered through sheep's wool or fleece. Step 4. Mixing. Water, milk, or barley preparations were added. Step 5. Offering. A portion was offered to the gods, especially Indra. Step 6. Consumption. The remaining soma was consumed by priests and sacrificers, not casually, but within sacred ritual. This was not intoxication. This was communion. Now, by following these steps, one might understand how Soma Rasa was prepared, but of course, one would still need to procure the original Soma plant from Muztagh Atta first. Gentle disclaimer: this presentation is for historical understanding only. Use your own discretion. No responsibility is accepted for any attempt at recreating this sacred ritual. And perhaps that is fitting. We may never know Soma's exact botanical identity, because Soma was never just a drink. It was humanity's earliest attempt to taste the divine.